Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to be hacking our way through the dense canopy of myths surrounding one of the most famous, yet, let's be honest, profoundly misunderstood places on Earth, the Amazon rainforest. So, when you picture the Amazon in your mind, what exactly do you see? Think the Amazon is just an empty wilderness? It's an incredibly common misconception that this massive region is nothing but endless trees, exotic animals, winding rivers, and just vast stretches of completely uninhabited, empty space waiting to be explored. But actually, scratch that, because the reality is totally different.
30 million. Let that staggering number just sink in for a second. 30 million. That's the number of people who actually live within the Amazon basin today. It's not some empty void. It is a thriving, bustling, deeply populated region of our planet that literally pulses with human life.
To put that staggering scale into perspective, we are looking at an immense diversity of human civilization operating right now beneath that jungle canopy. We're talking 350 different ethnic groups, and they're spread across 3,344 formally acknowledged indigenous territories. Oh, and the whole shebang is governed by 9 entirely different national political systems. The sheer complexity of life here is, frankly, mind-blowing.
Now, the really crucial point here is this. While millions of those inhabitants do live in modern, bustling Amazonian cities, a vital 9% of that total population are indigenous peoples. These are populations deeply, and I mean deeply, rooted in the forest's ancient history. They've been shaping the landscape and managing this ecosystem for thousands of years, way before any modern borders were ever drawn on a map. Section 1. Warriors and Peacemakers. Let's journey a bit deeper into the jungle.
There is this intense, almost unimaginable duality found within the rainforest. On one hand, historical accounts tell us about highly warlike groups like the Yanomami, who were known for their constant internal warfare, and the Jivaruan peoples who conducted these really fierce raids. But then you contrast that against entirely peaceful societies, like the Xingu tribes. They built strictly defensive alliances specifically to avoid resorting to violence unless it was absolutely necessary to protect their homes.
So, just how intense was this conflict? Well, listen to this chilling quote. More than a third of the Yanomamo males, on average, died from warfare. I mean, wow. This was the deadly reality of constant infighting within the Yanomami tribes situated near the border of Brazil and Venezuela. It was a harsh, completely unforgiving environment where survival often meant perpetual, deadly conflict with your own neighbors. And if we look at the Juvarian groups, including the Shuar tribe, well, they utilize some truly gruesome trophy practices. I'm talking about head hunting and head shrinking. Yeah, you heard that right. They actually took the heads of their defeated enemies and shrank them as macabre trophies of war. It's a chilling practice that has fascinated and terrified outsiders for centuries, and it definitely adds a deeply mysterious kind of dark layer to the Amazon's history.
Section 2. Deadly First Contacts.
I want you to imagine, just for a second, stumbling into a territory where no outsider has ever survived. What actually happens when modern explorers, armed with nothing but maps and a whole lot of confidence, cross into strictly forbidden, heavily guarded indigenous territory without an invitation? Well, this tension created what reads like a chronological thriller of deadly jungle encounters, starting in 1961 when Richard Mason was killed by the Panara, and moving forward to 1969 with the first permanent contact with the Matse. Back in 1961, British explorer Richard Mason ventured deep into the jungle and unfortunately met a grim, highly violent demise. He was killed by the Panara tribe, a group that was completely uncontacted by the outside world at the time. This really highlights the absolute deadly reality of encountering an isolated group. To them, any outsider is seen as a mortal threat to their very existence. And it wasn't just isolated skirmishes in the jungle either. The Matses fiercely and violently defended their borders, to the point where they were effectively at war with the Peruvian government. They fought off the outside world with everything they had, remaining a truly formidable force until their very first permanent contact was finally established in 1969. Section 3. The Uncontacted Mystery. Let's talk about the ghosts of the rainforest. Over 60. That is the staggering number of indigenous groups that still remain largely isolated and completely uncontacted in the deep Amazon today.
Think about that. In our hyper-connected, GPS-mapped modern world, over 60 distinct societies are out there right now, living entirely off the grid. No internet, no cell towers, just the forest. So, what exactly is an uncontacted tribe? Basically, these are indigenous groups that remain completely isolated from the outside world, living out a hidden existence. They rely entirely on the forest for everything, keeping their ancient ways of life completely obscured from the globalized societies surrounding them. It really is an incredible testament to human resilience and adaptation, don't you think? But here's the thing we all need to be asking ourselves. With the rainforest shrinking due to deforestation and modern development pushing further and further inward, what happens when our modern world finally reaches them? What is the fragile future of these 60 hidden societies when the trees around them fall? It's a profound question that challenges our entire understanding of progress and the true human cost of Amazonian expansion.